Chapter 9, Motivating Children to be Physically Active, with additional content on flow and the kinesthetic classroom. Really interesting content, so let's roll. What is critical thinking? Critical thinking is the ability to think clearly and rationally about what to do or what to believe. It includes the ability to engage in reflective and independent thinking. Someone with critical thinking skills is able to do the following: understand the logical connections between ideas, identify, construct, and evaluate arguments, detect inconsistencies and common mistakes in reasoning, problem solve systematically, identify the relevance and the importance of ideas, reflect on the justification of one's own beliefs and values. Critical thinking. Poor teaching practices among physical educators are often due to the lack of critical thinking. Through critical thinking, physical educators can implement developmentally appropriate physical education that fosters recreation as well as learning. Some suggestions on how to eliminate poor teaching practices are to stop using inappropriate equipment and stop allowing student captains to choose their teams. These are just two. Critical thinking. PE Hall of Shame. The PE Hall of Shame was established in 1992 to help physical education professionals take a closer look at themselves, focus on the developmentally and the programmatically appropriate PE, and to encourage physical education professionals to strive towards structuring and teaching classes in order to achieve the ultimate goal of student development in the physical, which is motor skills and fitness, cognitive and affective domains. Ultimately, students should develop a unity of their minds and bodies to enable them to live as healthy and productive adults in society. Motivations. Students have two primary sources of reinforcement when involved in classroom activities: themselves and those around them, which are teachers, parents, students, staff, and classmates. Intrinsic motivators, sources of reinforcement from within the person's control. Intrinsic motivators, sources of reinforcement from others, outside of the person's control. This can include prizes, rewards, things like that. New approaches to motivation. Instill feelings of motor skill competency in their children. Build the students' intrinsic motivation. Involve the students in the learning process. Involve yourself by modeling enthusiasm for physical activity and joining others in the community to encourage physical activity. Ways to instill feelings of motor skill competency. Avoid embarrassing children during physical activities. Respect differences in physical abilities. Maximize opportunities to practice skills. Use developmentally appropriate movement activities and provide task variations to adjust for varying ability levels. Maximize practice opportunities by having enough equipment, appropriate sized equipment, and activity space so everyone can practice. Building intrinsic motivation. Draw attention to positive feelings experienced during physical activity. Plan for all students to be successful. Communicate attainable expectations with encouragement and accountability. Evaluate students appropriately. Praise students for job well done. Link increased effort with improved ability to allow students to control whether or not they will be successful. Construct flow experiences for children, a sense of exhilaration from participating in physical activity. Involve yourself through a community game night. At the event, model enthusiasm and interest in physical activities. Join with parents and others in the community to effectively impact children's activity levels. Have fun and enjoy the activity time. Fun with a purpose. Flow is a concept that's been around for a while, but we're going to have you read an article, help your child find the flow. Finding your flow, in very simplistic terms, is being on the edge of your skill level and accepting of a challenge. The balance between challenge and skill in a developmentally appropriate situation. The article can help you find your own flow. The article is in Blackboard, and we'll be talking more about flow. Here's a little bit more about flow. Flow is seeking the balance between skill and challenge. You have all these different emotions that help you do things and motivate you in different ways. On the bottom is your skill level, and on the side is your level of challenge, and there's a pie graph that'll go out and find your maximum flow. As you see, flows up in the upper right hand corner. So your ultimate goal will be to find your flow projection. Resources for motivation. Flow. The psychology of optimal experience. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. I love these people who come up with these great ideas, have hard names to pronounce. So Mihai Csikszentmihalyi is one of the world's leading researchers in positive psychology. As the founding co-director of the Quality of Life Research Center at Claremont Graduate University, he specializes in research on psychological strengths of the human brain, such as optimism, creativity, intrinsic motivation, and responsibility. Inspired by ancient Greek philosopher, he is known as the creator of the concept of flow, a satisfactory state of being in which a person feels completely absorbed in activity while losing his or her sense of time. You can find the video, Pleasure, Engagement, Meaning Equals a Happy Life, in Week 9, Step 5. Pause the presentation and watch it. I'm glad you're back. We're going to talk about kinesthetic lessons now. You're going to get to pause the presentation again and watch the video, Kinesthetic Learning, in Week 9, Step 6, labeled kinestheticlearning.mov. Watch how experienced teachers use kinesthetic learning in their own classroom. Take good notes. I'm glad you're back again. We're going to watch another video on the kinesthetic classroom. The movie you're going to watch is a kinesthetic classroom, teaching and learning through movement. It's a TED Talk by Mike Zakula. Take good notes because you'll be writing a blog on flow and kinds, talking about flow and the kinesthetic classroom.